Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with the dad and trainer of Josh Warrington, Sean O'Hagan. Sean, before we start this interview, before we talk about the fight, you said you weren't doing an interview with me. You waited till I packed all my stuff away. I'm ready to go home. A big, long 4-hour drive back up to Scotland. Then you said to me, let's do one. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes. Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, you know what, at least I'm getting an interview. That's fair enough, that's fair enough. Let's just jump straight into the nitty-gritty of it then. Press conference there, rematch with Kiko Martinez. Kiko's coming off on an absolutely tremendous knockout win against Kid Galahad. He basically called out, it sounds like from rumours and people talking, that he's called out Josh as soon as he got back to that changing room. He wanted Josh Warrington. Why do you think he wanted Josh?
I think Kiko genuinely believes he won the first fight. I'm saying that genuinely believes. It was a close fight. It was very, very competitive. And you know, why not? Why not? If you want to go back, avenge your defeats, you know what I mean? We'd have gone back and done Lara. But unfortunately, the cut were going to take a long, long time to heal. 6 or 7 months. And, you know, it wasn't to be. We did come back to face as demons after getting beat by him first time. And that ticks all boxes for me, you know. I know it was a short fight, but the first couple of rounds there, they shown us that we were back and we were back with a vengeance, you know. So I think Kiko's same. It makes sense.
I spoke to Kiko. Obviously, I wasn't speaking in Spanish. I had the translator there, and I asked him about how knocking out Kid Galahad, and obviously how close the first fight was with Josh. Can you do the same to Josh to make sure it doesn't go to the judges and you convincingly win, obviously by knocking Josh out? He basically said, I'm looking for the knockout. Your response?
Yeah, of course we can. He's capable, isn't he? We've seen that. You know, I think what we've got to remember is that this is boxing and it should be competitive. That's what we pay for. You know, I mean, going back to old days of boxing where you'd go to your local event, whatever was going on, it weren't all big shiny star-spangled events. Just used to be regular fighters, and if one got beat, they'd come back 2 weeks later and do it all again. You know, your average working man, he'll go down, pays £3, go in and watch boxing professionally. There were a few places around Leeds. So, you know, boxing should be competitive. And you know what? Kiko's capable, isn't he? It's no good saying no chance. We don't want it to happen. Obviously, we'll be doing everything we can in his power to turn that round on him and do that to him. But it's boxing. So what I do now is I say anything's possible. There's nothing impossible. But what I will say is it's going to be a very, very hard night for him because he's not going to get anything at all gifted. You know what I mean? Let's be right about it. You know, there's upsets all the time. Sometimes you'd expect it to breeze through a fighter and it turns out it goes the wrong way for you. And we've seen a succession of those through lockdown, haven't we? So now I don't make any predictions. I don't ever give my take on when it's going to go and how it's going to go. I just say we'll be doing his very best to get the win, and that's it.
I was going to say, obviously Josh isn't known for his punching power, but fighters have said that Josh can whack. He might not get the stoppages and stuff and all the rest of it, but he can put them together to get a stoppage. Now, obviously, with Josh vacating his IBF title and a lot of chatter in the boxing world that he's trying to dodge Kid Galahad, and then obviously the loss to Lara, then the rematch didn't go to plan. It was like 2 rounds in with the headbutt and then obviously the draw. Does Josh need to go into this fight with a point to prove, to go in there and say, listen Kiko, you might be the champion, the first fight was close, but I'm going to make sure that this one isn't close? And can Josh possibly do what Kiko was saying and stop Kiko?
It's possible. It's boxing, you know. Like I say, we can't say that he's going to do it. We'll be saying he'll be trying very, very hard to do it. That's the whole point of boxing, isn't it? You know, 2 fighters, fairly evenly matched, both with a point to prove, you know. So, yeah, we'll be looking to do that. We'll be looking... It's the same as anything. If you can get him out early, then you'll get him out early. If not, you might have to settle for a long night, but you get that win. That's what matters, you know. And as far as Galahad's concerned, how many times can you stamp your feet and make demands like a spoilt child till you get what you want? You know, I mean, he did that with IBF. He got beat. Accept it. He got beat, and you know you got beat. Then he stamps his feet, and IBF, I think they were wrong to reinstate him as mandatory. That's disrespectful to every fighter below him in that division, in that rank, in them rankings. They've had to fight, they've had to climb ladder only then. Hang on, he's just been beaten, he gets reinstated as mandatory. It's ridiculous, So he's just out to disrupt, isn't it, really? And, well, we've seen what happens, like we say, boxing's competitive.
You're talking about his boxing and there's different possibilities and stuff like that. Now, when you look at this featherweight division, from when Josh vacated the IBF world title, the landscape has changed dramatically. We all know that Josh wanted Kanzu, but now Lee Wood's got that WBA. Leo Santa Cruz looks like he's moving up, so now Josh and Conlan will be fighting for the super title. That's what I'm hoping for, and get rid of that regular belt, put it in the bin, nobody really cares about it. Then obviously you've got Mark Magsayo beating Gary Russell Jr. to become the WC champion. Exactly. You've got Josh Warrington fighting for his old belt against Kiko Martinez. I mean, obviously Navarrete's still there, but the landscape is changing. So is it a priority for you and Josh, especially you, when you're looking? Obviously Josh has got to concentrate on Kiko, and so do yourself, but is it a priority for you to now when Josh wins this, if Josh wins this fight on March 26th, it's now a priority to get these other unification belts? There's no let's just get if Conlan Wood winner, then we'll go after Magsayo, then we'll go after Navarrete. Is that a priority now after this win?
Well, I wouldn't say a priority. I mean, as you said, landscape of boxing is changing on a weekly basis now. So what we'll do is, I'm not going to look past Kiko. We'll deal with Kiko best way we can. Whatever the outcome will be, that's what it'll be. I'm very, very confident with Kiko, by the way. I'm not giving myself any cover whatsoever. I'm extremely confident that we'll do a Kiko that Galahad couldn't, so we'll get him out of the way and then we'll deal with everything else. But I think what you've said there, it makes sense, doesn't it, really? So yeah, I would say it's pretty accurate, is that?
Eddie Hearn's made it obviously there's only 2 weeks apart, I think, between the Wood, Conlan and Martinez and Warrington. So for Eddie Hearn looking at it, it's a natural fight for you to fight the winner of Wood and Conlan. Now, it doesn't matter who you fight. You can have, if it's Wood, you're going to have that Leeds Nottingham rivalry and the big fans there. If it's Conlan, you're going to have that huge Belfast following, the huge Irish crowd and stuff like that. So either one is going to be a massive fight. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, since you've fucked up my evening by not letting me go home and keeping me here in Leeds for a lot longer than what I expected. I want you to pick who's going to win that fight, Wood and Conlan.
You've really, really put me on the spot there. You really put me on the spot.
I bet you haven't, have I?
I'll tell you why, because both lads, I like both lads. And when I say both lads, not because they're friends or anything, or they've both got their own skill set, haven't they? They're both good at what they do. It's hard, but I think a lot of people have underestimated Conlan. I think it could be Conlan by points. I do. I think it could be Conlan by points. On the other hand, if there's going to be a stoppage, it could be Lee Wood by stoppage. So it's either Lee Wood by stoppage or Conlan on points.
Back to that old Fury when Fury was fighting Wilder. It's Wilder by stoppage or Fury by points. So
exactly, and that's being honest, is that? I mean, like I say, I like both lads, and Conlan's, I used to watch Jamie Conlan, and it's one of them where they know what they're doing. Yeah. They know what they're doing. They're no mugs out them lads, So I'll stick with it. I'll stay. It'll either be the points win with Conlan or the stoppage with Wood. But I wish best of luck to both lads, because they're both smashing kids, both smashing lads. Definitely. And I do like them.
Quick word on Maxi Hughes then. I mean, he's got a tough fight in Ryan Walsh. He's already lost to the twin brother in Liam. You were there, and obviously how low Maxi felt after that defeat, and everything that came with it, and he wanted to retire, but then he seems like he's got the Cinderella man, everyone's calling him, and it seems like every single fighter in Britain, every coach in Britain, my side of the aisle, the media, we can't stop giving Maxi all these praises for what he's done. He's stuck at it, he's became British champion, he's stuck at it, he's became IBO world champion. So how do you keep him that challenger mentality, to know that even though he is the champion, he's going to walk out second in front of a home crowd, but he is facing a very, very difficult opponent and a tough opponent in Ryan Walsh. So how do you keep that challenger mentality for Maxi?
I'll tell you what we do. It's dead easy with Maxi. we'd tell him, if you don't do things right, you don't win this fight, then you're back on building site 2 weeks after. That's it. And you know what? That's not a joke. You know what I mean? The kid was dragging his son out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. He'd be on the road at 5 o'clock to get on site somewhere in country at 6:30. And that's genuine. That's genuine. He knows now, does Maxi. He's got a bit of sponsorship. He's got luxury of being at home and a full-time professional. And he's enjoying it that much that he don't want to lose that. That's motivation enough for Maxi Hughes. You know, and he's the most improved fighter, I think, in this country at this present time. And I really do think that. You can look at all your big fights. You know, you do these, they do these boxing awards and everything else, and there's no mention of Maxi Hughes in there. But I tell you what, if you sit and think about it carefully, there's no better fighter than Maxi Hughes, more improved fighter than Maxi Hughes. It really is a proper Cinderella man, as I say.
Definitely, totally agree. Final one before I get out of here and get my ass home and get some food. What can we expect from Josh Warrington? I mean, I spoke to him, I spoke to Kiko. It seems like both of them are hungry, even though they might be in their 30s now. And Kiko obviously is creeping on 40. They seem like they've both still got that hunger in them, and it's going to be, from what I'm looking at, it's going to be a great fight. What can we expect from them?
I'll tell you what we can expect. A very aggressive fight, because Kiko won't take a backward step. Josh has got the bit between his teeth now. He don't usually box on back foot, other than when, last time we fought Kiko, we did actually box on back foot, but we're carrying a bad injury there from second and third round. And I think what you're going to see is an absolutely cracking, very competitive, aggressive fight. That's what we're going to get from him.
Well, that being said, I cannot wait for March 26th now, Sean. So it's going to be a great fight. Listen, you got anything else you would like to add?
Yes, I'd just like to thank my sponsors that have come forward. Melvin from A&M Flags, and my new one, as you'll see further down the line, HQ Dental. They're on Song Road in Leeds. They're going to be providing me with my new fireplace. Apparently they can make me look like Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp.
Johnny Vega?
Johnny Depp.
Depp. I thought you said Vegas there, sorry, not Johnny Depp.
No, what they're doing is they've very kindly come forward and they've offered to provide all our lads with, providing them with gum shields and really high tech and high quality.
Good stuff. Sean, I'll come down and I'm here for fight week, so I'll come down, I'll be here for fight week, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you then.
See you then.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you, mate.